Hello, everybody. Episode 35. So, this is going to be a little different episode. If you can see behind me, you'll see it's nighttime, and we usually record during the daytime. So, you get a little glimpse into Kim and my personal life here tonight because Kim as a Chamber of Commerce president and CEO, she has a major event tomorrow, and I get to go along and escort her. So that means that we won't be home during the day tomorrow to record this. So what you're seeing is recorded the day before, which is Monday. So I told you it's going to be a little bit wacky. One of these days, Kim, we got to get you on this side of the camera. Why are you saying no? I tell everybody how gorgeous you are and everything, and she's a little shy. No. She's not shy in front of 200 people at an event where she's a keynote speaker. Trust me. But anyway, it's a little different event. It's a little different episode tonight because I'm used to recording this during the daytime, and now it's getting kind of late. But we got to get to business. And the business in this episode is the writing of a pilot episode script. One of the most important things you're going to be doing. And you'll learn a lot more about why it's so important in the next episode when I show you how to sell your television series, hopefully. Jack's tip jar. Boy, the single biggest mistake that everybody who wants to write for television or motion pictures makes, young writers, and I don't mean young chronologically, I mean young in their career. You could be a young writer at 45 or 50, doesn't matter. But writers who are just getting started, the biggest mistake they make is that they jump into writing the script. They don't write what we call a treatment or a beat outline, which is basically the same thing. I know what my script's going to be. I know Jack told me how to open. I need to be able to open. I need to know what my close is going to be. I need to know 2 or 3 big plot points along the way. Man, I'm ready. I'm going to jam. Well, that's not how it works, okay? Which you would be unhappy to find out if you jumped into a script without writing a beat outline or without writing a treatment. So your treatment is really going to be your biggest blueprint. It's going to help you out so much, so you have to take the time to write it. Now, lucky you, because if you paid attention to me in the last episode when we talked about how to do a series Bible, you will remember that in that crucial format section, I told you that what you're going to do when you talk about scene 1 in act 1, you're going to describe how a scene in your series is going to work, and then you're going to put it in bold and say, for example, in our pilot episode script, Joe Schmo, who owns the brick company, wakes up one morning and he's got an uneasy feeling about something. So every time you describe a scene in your series Bible, and I know I'm going back to it, but I'm doing that for a reason, you're going to start out by describing a scene and then showing an example. For example, in the pilot episode, Clever You, you're going to delineate how that scene works. And it's a little different. It's a lot different when you're writing for feature film than when you're writing for a television series. When you're writing for a television series, you need to have your acts laid out in a highly structured manner. You need to start your act. You will always have in a half-hour series. There are some series for children, like the Care Bears was 2 12-minute episodes, 2 11-minute episodes for younger children. But for for the main key demographic for children, the episodes are 22 minutes running time, giving you time for commercials and the credits. So in 22 minutes, you are going to have, in each episode, including your pilot, you're going to have an A story and a B story, okay? Your A story is going to be primarily addressing the action, okay? That's what drives your show, okay? And I go back to Joe Schmo, who owns the brick company, in a fictitious pilot episode. You want to start with action. It may be Joe Schmo's villainous competitor who's finally managed to create the chemical that's going to destroy all of Joe's straw, okay? Hey, that's a powerful way to start out your first act one, scene one, okay? You got 2 acts in an episode. But act one, scene one starts out with that action. And that can run, 4 or 5 pages maybe. And then you are going to shift to act one, scene two. And you will indicate that this is part of our B story. Well, fortunately, the broadcast executives and the writers that you're going to hire for your incredibly successful show are going to know what you mean when you say a B story. But for you, I'm going to explain what it is. A B story gives you a little bit of relief from the action segments, okay? It's going to be a little bit more personal. It may be what you'll say in our Joe Schmo Brick Company story, that scene one, act one, scene two is a B story about his relationship with his daughter, okay? Who he desperately wants to have go into the brick business with him, but hates the brick business because she wants to be a gymnast, okay? So it also gives, and I'm smiling because it also gives you a little bit of an opportunity for a bit of comic relief. There's nothing wrong with having, some comic relief. I mean, look at Wolverine, Deadpool, okay? It's action, but the thing that you love about it is they got this little dollop of comedy occasionally. So it breaks it up, Otherwise, it's relentless. It goes forever. You can do that in an adult motion picture like Aliens, which just one of the greatest action films as far as I'm concerned that's ever been designed. And it just grabs you by the neck. And as soon as Ripley and her crew gets on the planet, it just grabs you on the neck. And, it's a roller coaster ride. There's no comedy. There's no break. There's no B story. But we're talking about here, because of my background, we're talking about a series that you're going to write that is going to be designed for kids. And you need to have that little bit of a break with a B story. And then you're just going to go from scene to scene to scene with next is going to be an A story scene. It's going to be act one, scene 3. And you're going to tell about how Joe Schmo finds out about this plot that's going against him. And he's going to try to come up with something that's going to counter it. And when you move now to your second B story, which will be act 1, scene 4, now you want to try to interrelate your B story with your A story, okay? So, yeah, you're still going to be talking about Joe Schmo and his daughter, but maybe Joe Schmo's daughter kind of senses something going on her own and that somebody's plotting against her dad, and she's going to try and get involved in it. And of course, now when you move to your next action scene, she gets captured by the villains, and Joe Schmo also has to deal with finding his daughter. you get the idea, okay? It's a silly example, but the more I talk about it, the more I start to think maybe there's a series there.
About a brick guy.
Joe Schmo's Brickyard. But that's what I'm talking about. So if you go back to your series Bible and you followed my instructions and you did blocks for each one of those descriptions about how it works in your pilot episode, specifically as an example, okay? And that's in bold. Go back into your series Bible, cut and paste every one of those bold sections and put it into a Word file, one after another, after another, after another. And when you get to the end and you say fade to black, you know what you'll have? You'll have a treatment for your pilot episode script. And then all you've got to do, which by now you're more than capable of doing, is take those scene descriptions, add in the dialogue, add in some more action, expand them a little bit, and you end up with a script. And it's gonna be a good script, okay? Because I know you've been paying attention. And once you've got that script done, Jack's tip jar number 2, hardest thing you're gonna do, one of the hardest things you're ever gonna do, you gotta take it and you gotta put it away for 24 hours. You gotta let it get cold and then go back in and reread and polish and edit and polish and edit and polish and edit until you have got the Kohinoor diamond, okay? When you've done that, well, now you've got your proposal for the series, showing the broadcaster how great this is going to be. And if you're going to PBS maybe, which we'll talk about in the next installment, you're going to tell them what's in it for them. You've also got a series Bible. You now have a pilot episode. What you've got is a presentation package. And in the next episode, I'm going to tell you what to do with it. See you guys soon.